The world press came to a standstill yesterday. I'm talking the world press. Why? Stock markets came to a halt. Operations came to a halt. Trucking companies came to a halt. Teaching came to a halt. Arsenal conceded a penalty in the Champions League. I'm Ty Knight. Let's get into this one. Arsenal are stubborn as hell. So Arsenal were playing Slavia Prague yesterday in the Champions League, quarter-6 kickoff in the UK time. There were 4 changes to this Arsenal team. 4 monumental changes. There was no Calafiore. Zubamendi wasn't playing. Victor Gyökeres was not playing. Eza was not playing. But that wasn't the breaking news. That was far from the breaking news. The breaking news was Ben White came on as a second-half substitute. What looked like a penalty, the world came to a standstill. And the reason why I say it came to a standstill because you're now thinking, oh my God, Arsenal's going to concede a goal. Oh my God, David Raya actually is going to have something to do from 12 yards out. Oh my gosh, we can rejoice, we can celebrate that Arsenal finally concedes a goal and we don't have to listen to those wretched Arsenal fans going, we're invincible, not just with trophies, but in defense. Kind of made that song up myself just now. But you silly fools. You silly fools. It wasn't a penalty. The world came to mourn. The world came crumbling down. Crypto, stock markets, the FTSE 500, everything came crashing down because it was a bad day. It was a bad day. Arsenal were not going to be put to the sword. Arsenal were not going to be tested from 12 yards out. Arsenal will not concede a goal yet again. Arsenal are just winning and winning and winning. And it's crazy, but it's beautiful at the same time. With the 4 changes that made, with Nketiah coming in, Norgard coming in, Ethan Nwaneri coming in, Mikel Merino, the goal-scoring machine, coming in and scoring a brace. Again, Arsenal are just going on and on and on. And it gets to the point now where you used to say to yourself, what can this team keep on doing? What can they do or what can they not do? Can they go the whole hog, the whole season, not just win the Premier League, the Champions League, but can they win the quadruple? And that's a question you have to start asking yourself. People are just talking about the Premier League and potentially a double with the Champions League. I've said it so many times. Arsenal are on course of doing a quadruple. A quadruple. They can go and do it. They can beat Crystal Palace on the 23rd of December. They can win the Premier League. They can win the Champions League. And they can go on and win the FA Cup. Something Mikel Arteta has failed to do since his appointment when he first won it. Then again, get to any further later stages in the FA Cup, may I add. But this Arsenal team is just beautiful to watch. This is the sort of football you want to watch. The football for neutrals want to be just like a basketball game. The football that people want to watch would be, let's say, for argument's sake, I can't even say one. Just an open 3-3 game, 4-4 game, maybe something like that. Where it's just end-to-end with no construction in there at all whatsoever. Arsenal will just literally score the first goal and kill the game off. That is boring to others, but it's a joy to me because now it's just like, well, come on. Come on, Cletus. Come on, bring it on. Let's see what you've got. Because the moment Arsenal score a goal, you now have to think, as an opposing team, do you attack Arsenal or do you just sit there and say, we've lost the game now? Because we cannot penetrate them before. We was on the ropes before. We had glimmer of hope before. And now they scored, it's game over. And that is what it's like. It's even when Arsenal get a free kick, Arsenal get a corner. The person who concedes the corner, the person who blocks the shot, the teammates look at that person and say, why the hell did you not just control the ball? Why didn't you just kick it back further down the field? Why did you deflect it wide? Because now we've got to defend this. Now we have to go and see if everything that we've done on the training pitch can transpire to the actual pitch. Arsenal really and truly take people's souls. And as I said, when Arsenal conceded that penalty, you had Arsenal fans thinking, great, here we go. David Raya, you're going to have to stop this ball going in the back of the net. You have to preserve this clean sheet. You have to do everything in your arsenal to make sure we do not concede. Because we ain't going to lose the game. No, just don't concede. And as I said, the whole world came to a standstill yesterday. People were thinking, yeah, we got something to write about. Yeah, we got something to celebrate. Yeah, we can show we can get our Arsenal. But it wasn't ever a penalty. And that's the beautiful thing about VAR in Arsenal's case for once. Arsenal literally look at every game and think, we can score, we can win. And every team that plays Arsenal starts praying. Every team that plays Arsenal starts doing a telethon. Every team that faces Arsenal has sleepless nights. And last night in Slavia Prague was no different. Arsenal have Sunderland next coming up. Arsenal also have to face Bayern Munich. They have to face Tottenham. They have to face Chelsea. At some point, Arsenal will be facing shots on goal. But at no point will Arsenal be thinking about that they're going to lose the game. At no point at all whatsoever. It's such a joy to watch. And last night was no different. The moment that Saka put the ball in the back of the net from 12 yards out, I was like, okay. Was it 20 seconds into the second half? Moreno gets onto the end of a beautiful ball by Trossard. But then again, the defense was very rubbish in the sense of marking Moreno. But he put the ball away, tucked it in nice and neat. The next goal comes along with Moreno. Big ball just lofted up there. Moreno jumps in between the keeper and the defender, hits in the back of the head, and it goes in 3-0. But 2 goals to Moreno. He comes in. He deputises for Victor Gyökeres, who could be out for some good couple of weeks. Could be out against the Sunderland game. And that game is pivotal for Arsenal. Because City and Liverpool play each other the day after. Arsenal need to win that game. Arsenal need to do everything that they need to do to make sure 3 points come back down south to keep the pressure on those two teams who are looking okay at the moment, but not great. And Arsenal are not great just yet. They're keeping clean sheets. They're great at that. But overall performances, they haven't been great. And that sounds stupid or crazy to say, but you know what I'm saying when I say great, when you're thinking of a 3, 4, 5-0 wins every single time. That is what you define as great performances. But when you think of a 1 or 2-0 victories and they've completely dominated, suffocated the opposition, that's what you call pure class performances. And that's what Arsenal's been doing. Pure class performances. You may not agree, but hey, that's what you're here for. To give me your comments below. Like the show, subscribe to the show. Make sure you do all those things and give it a big hype, but let me know what you think. How do you rate Arsenal's performances so far? Are they great performances? Are they world-class performances? Are they professional performances? What are they? How do you define them? Didn't need to talk about the Slavia Prague game in detail. No, just needed to say that Arsenal are just giving out A1 performances and it is hurting the world. And like I said, the world came to a crashing halt yesterday, but there was no headlines to be written. Arsenal won 3-0. We keep on marching on. Up the Arsenal.